Visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Just be there. I'll be confirming then and there whether am I visible and audible. Just to answer me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Friends, good evening. I hope you are all doing good. And how to write a research paper, because it's a very important thing nowadays, because publication plays a very vital role in everywhere. And I know that from the registration I was told that there are students, there are professors and the administrator, there are many state of the people right from Jammu to till Kashmir, and I think almost 1500 people have registered for this workshop. And I'm going to give you a complete detail about how to write a research paper right from scratch. Even you don't know anything about the research and research paper. And if you closely follow me for the next 1 hour, and at the end, definitely you will have a handful of ideas to write a research paper. Come, let's get started. So my broad area of the presentation is going to be, first thing, you need to understand the research, because without understanding the research, how can you write a research paper? So I'll be talking about the research. I'll give you the basic understanding to you and you'll be able to get it. And second thing, I'll be talking about the different components of a research paper and how to draft each component, or what are the expected thing from each component. All those things you will be able to get it from my presentation, and you will have answer for these two things at the end of the talk. First, understanding the research. What do you mean by research? You have different idea, and so actually, if you want to understand the research, again, I can't give you a one word answer. You need to know what is the research, what is the research paper, components of the research paper, how to select a research problem, and how to start the research, how to identify research tools, how to collect data for research, how to interpret the data. You will be knowing all these components in the in the understanding of the research. Next, right, comes a writing research paper. So after knowing those parameter in the what I have told in the previous slide, then you will be exactly getting ideas about how to write abstract, introduction, literature review, objectives and research questions, analysis and interpretation, conclusion, references, because these are the components of a research paper. So I'll be giving brief information about each portion, each part, how are you supposed to write, all those things I'll be giving it to you. Rupa, am I audible and visible clearly?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So come, we'll go. What is a research? See, as usual, let me give you the dictionary definition. It's a detailed study of a subject, especially in order to discover new information or reach a new understanding. It says Cambridge Dictionary. What Google defines, it says that systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. But let me give you in a very plain statement. Research. Research is the combination of two words, research. So research starts from the search. Whatever you are searching for, a new knowledge, new perception, new idea, new invention, new discovery, and new perception. If you are a literature, if you are an English literature student, you don't invent new thing, but you will give a new perception to a, what you call, taken a particular literary work, and you will try to give a new perception. So these all forms a research. So research is nothing but searching for something new. That's a very layman basic definition. Then what is a research paper? So research, it's a researching. Research paper is a document published by researchers after conducting a research into their respective field, and they'll be publishing it, their research into conferences, journals, and books. It's a document. See, after conducting the research, not everybody will publish as a research paper in an international journal. Some of them, they may publish in the conferences or books or a journal paper. So it's a complete document prepared based on your research and published in either conferences, journals, and books. Okay. Now let's get started. What are the components of the research paper? Any research paper, you know very well that there should be a title, then abstract, introduction, literature review, research methodology, research method. Within that, you need to talk about aim and objective of your research questions or research hypothesis, research samples or respondent or participants, and research tools, what you have used for your research. And then comes analysis. In the data analysis and discussion, you will be knowing about how to know. You have to code your data, then you have to interpret and analyze your data or the primary source. Then you will be recording the findings. And you will be giving the conclusions. At the end, you will end the paper with the references, or if it is a thesis, you will end with the bibliography. So now we will see one by one, how are you supposed to do. See, kindly bear with me when I go to the next slide. It takes some time to go to the next slide. That's why it has some. Just a minute. I'm unable to move to the next slide. Kindly bear with me. This one I have done. Then this is the thing I need to talk about, right? It's okay. For my convenience, let me keep it in the small slides so that there won't be any confusion to you. Otherwise, it's, when I put it in a full slide, so sometimes it takes time to operate. So whenever I have a glitch, let me go to this mode. But now I'll be giving it in a full slide. It's okay. It's not going to the full slide. So let me, because of the network glitch. Okay. How can you select a research problem on a topic? See, you want to write a research paper. First, now you need to select a research problem or a topic or a, what do you call, or a hypothesis. How will you select it? First of all, you can do that based on your own experience. What do you mean by own experience? Because I know that people are from different subjects. You're attending this workshop. And actually, based on your field, probably based on your experience. See, let me give one example from my point of view. I'm English professor, so see, I can write paper on the teaching experience. When I teach a new thing to the student, assume that I'm teaching vocabulary. How I am teaching vocabulary to the student, what are the new tools I'm using it? Probably assume that there is a one tool app called vocab app. So how the usage of the vocab app to improve the students' vocabulary. This is my topic, because this topic, how I have derived, I have taken from my experience, because I have used this particular app in my classroom to teach the vocabulary. So I'm going to talk about how this app can be utilized for the fullest way and how the students will get benefited. All those things will be able to understand from this particular research topic. So first thing, you can select based on your experience. Second thing, universalization of the problem. This is very important. See, I have selected vocab app and I am telling that how it is useful to a particular student. Assume that how I have used it in the VIT. So, but the experience which is collected from VIT must be universalized. That means, in case if I conduct a particular research in my institute, if it is not going to be applicable, that means you are unable to implement in your context, in your field, area or domain, then it cannot be a universal research topic. So I need to make sure that I have to present my topic in such a way that even somebody reads my paper, he or she has to apply this particular paper in his own or his or her context. So in that way, I need to universalize. How can I do that? I need to check whether this particular research problem can be universalized. In case you can't do that thing, say for example, I have a particular, say for example, specific language laboratory course we have in VIT, whereas other college they don't have that particular course, means I can publish this as a paper. The reason is other college they don't have a lab at all. How will they be able to implement those things? So I need to select something which is completely possible for the other people also. That is what we call it as universalizing the research problem. If you can do that, you can universalize. See, universalize is very simple. Whether your problem can be felt by the problem of others. So that they will be able to take those things and they'll be applying their context. That's the second thing you have to make sure that your research topic is universalized. Third thing, workable. What do you mean by workable? I know that a lot of people, because especially the students that I have seen a lot of students are attending, you have to make sure that whether the selected topic, will you be able to work on that? Do you have a sufficient reading? Will you be able to do that thing? And if you are a researcher, real PhD researcher, PhD scholar, you have to first thing check feasibility. Feasibility means, do you have a sufficient sources? You have a sufficient what you call opportunity to conduct that study in your area or in your university? Will your guide accept that? Will you be able to complete within, in case if it's a PhD research, will you be able to complete within a timeline? All those things you have to check. Let me tell you what is workable, what is not workable. See, let me take the same example. You want to study about the vocabulary learning experience of the student in India. In India means you need to take a sample from the entire India. That is, you have to take sample from all the states. Is it possible for you to derive the sample for your study for the entire pan-India? I don't think it's really possible. So then it is not workable. So you have to select the possibility of learning vocabulary. Instead of having the pan-India, you can restrict to Tamil Nadu. Again, you have to check whether will you be able to collect participants and responses from the entire Tamil Nadu district, all the 30 plus districts. If you can't do that, then you have to restrict maybe within 5 district or a 10 district, or you have to plan. Whichever is possible, you can do that. So that is only workable, because a lot of time people, they say, take a problem, but that will not be a workable problem. They, what kind of utopian thought, they'll select the problem. Finally, they land into, they'll not be able to work it. So kindly verify whether it is feasible to conduct a study in your area. Do you have a sufficient resources, opportunity to everything? And if it is fine, only you have to proceed. Otherwise, you have to rethink. You have to change your research problem in such a way that you can work. Third thing, that's what already I've talked about, availability of resources to conduct a research. See, when you conduct a research, why I said pan-India, it is not possible. You have to go to all the states, or you need to have a connection, and you need to send the questionnaire to the people to collect the data. In case you are doing intervention study, intervention means you want to test your new methodology, how it operates on that student. How will you be able to do that thing in the entire state? It is never going to be possible. That's why you have to restrict within a state, again restrict within the university or within respective particular colleges. Then only you will be able, because that is only available resources you can conduct it. Otherwise, it is not possible. Third thing, fourth thing is I have talked about then identifying research gap problem after literature review. See, one thing I have already told you, you can select a problem based on your own experience. Experience means this type of research problem can be selected only by the experienced teachers, number one, because based on their teaching experience, they can do that. Or otherwise, as a normal, you are a fresher, you have seen a problem. See, the people are finding it so difficult to travel from one place to another place. So immediately their new thought comes to a person to invent something. This is how the Uber came to the place in the world. Then, because after that, the modeling the Uber, then Ola came into the picture, it came to India. So sometimes the research problem can be something unique, that the problem faced by the entire people community. You can give a solution to that problem also that way. That is a very high-end research. You can, if you can do that thing. For example, you said India invented Covaxin and the Covishield, what you call the doses for the pandemic, the COVID-19. That injection, it helps to prevent the disease. But that is also research. That's a hardcore scientific research. They need to test with all the permutation and combination. Finally, if it is okay, it will come to the market. That type of thing also is there possible. But that type of research cannot be done by everybody. You need to have a sophisticated laboratory, and you need to test everything, and it should be proven that it is absolutely possible if you are a scientist. So this is the way you need to identify whether you have resources available. And after you understand that resources are available, then identify exactly what's your research problem. Research problem means if it is not based on your experience, how can you identify? Simple. You can read the literature. Literature means already published research papers on your topic. Let me take one example, physics. You are a physics student. You want to study about photosynthesis or something. I'm not a science student, so I don't know much about it, but for a namesake, let me give some example. So you want to work on photosynthesis. So you have to study the papers which are available on photosynthesis, especially the last 5-year, 10-year papers. You read all those papers. When you read those papers, you will get some idea how the previous researchers have worked. In case they have already worked on some way how the photosynthesis is working, or some other way they have done it. Once somebody have already worked and you are not supposed to continue the same thing, because you cannot redo a research which has been already done. Let me repeat, you cannot redo a research which has been already done, because it's simply a copy. You can't do that. So only that researcher has done something, but there is a gap. He has not tested one particular parameter. Probably you can take the same research, you can test only that parameter as your main research, and you can go ahead. That is called research gap. So after thoroughly studying the literature, you understand that somebody has worked in this particular area, but they have, say for example, there are 10 components. They have addressed all the 9 components, but they have not addressed one component. That one component can be taken as your research gap, because that particular component has not been discussed by the previous researchers. But how will you know this thing? You have to establish this research gap in such a way that I have reviewed the last 5-year or 10-year papers, and I understood that these are the components that already the previous researchers have worked. But this one particular component alone, nobody has worked previously. That's why my intention is to work on this particular research problem. This is how you need to establish the research gap. So if you have established it through the literature, then you can go ahead with that research problem. Then in case you don't want to do even from the literature review, you don't want to do with your experience, you don't want to do with your literature review, then you can go with the entirely novelty. That's what I already told you, that can you give a solution to the common societal problem. Again, whatever the research you are trying to give it, whether you based on your experience or based on research, you must conduct literature review. Because see, you may think that using the particular app in your college is innovation, but just assume that somebody else have used the same app 10 years back in some other college, then you can't say that your research is innovative, because you came to know about that particular mobile application now only you have used in your class. But whereas somebody else have used it in already 10 years back, but now you have written but entirely pure research you have conducted in your college, and you have done everything, you have published, but this cannot be taken as a novel research, because somebody has already done it in their college, but simply you are imitating the same thing in your college. It doesn't mean that it is a novel idea to do a research. So you have to be very careful how to select a research problem, and based on these parameters you can do that thing. And otherwise, the very core component in the research problem is literature review. Whatever you want to do, that you identify, then conduct the review based on that particular the topic you have decided. Then you have to decide whether is there a gap in the literature, then you can go ahead. This is what you have to do for selecting the research problem, because this is the basic foundation. That's why you have to be very strong. Next, how to start the research. So now you have identified the research problem. Now, how to start it? Very simple. So it is a continuation of the previous slide. See, now assume that you have a fair rough idea about your research topic. Then what you have to do? Just to go to the Google or go to the different journals, just to collect related research papers, books and reports latest to the last 5 years or last 10 years. Don't collect more than that. See, after identifying your research topic, go to the Google Scholar. There is a don't do the normal search. You can collect the paper in different way through Google search, through Scopus database, through JSTOR database, through a normal university library, or you can check in the general books. You have to collect all the books, journals related to your research area. That's very important. So you first think collection of the material. Assume that you have collected 50 research papers on your exact topic. It should not be similar to that. Possible first to be very focused on exactly on your topic. Assume that you are working on vocabulary app to develop student vocabulary. Then you need to collect the papers on using a mobile app to improve the vocabulary. What are the papers are already available using the mobile app to develop the student vocabulary? Only collect those papers. In case you have only limited paper, then you can go to the other similar, slightly similar papers also you can take it. First thing, collection of the 50 research paper. Then you have to arrange those papers in a chronological order. What do you mean by chronological order? You know where, see, you have started from 2015 to 2021. So you have to start because you have to arrange it. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand the flow of the research. See, you should read from the 2016 or whatever the chronological order you have to go ahead. You have to completely finish the entire reading of the entire papers, all the chronological order papers, so that finally you will be able to identify your research gap. So arranging it in the chronological order, that's a second important thing. Third thing, reading the most relevant to your topic first. See, now you have downloaded 50 papers. Now you have arranged the 50 papers with the chronological order, that is in 2015, either direct chronological or reverse chronological order. You have arranged it. Next thing, will you be able to read all the 50 papers at the stretch? Definitely not possible. Then you need to pick and choose very important topic you feel. See, whenever you read a topic, you understand that this sounds really good. It will be very much connected to my research. If you feel like that, immediately pick that paper and read those papers first. Read those papers. Don't read the entire paper. First pick, say for example, out of 50, you find 5 papers is very interesting, highly close to your research area. I mean, first read only those 5 papers. Rest of the paper, you can read it later. I'll be talking about it later. Then after this thing, you can prepare a bibliography, cards and references. Nowadays, there are online tools available to prepare your bibliography cards and the references. You can use it like Evernote or Mendeley and other similar applications available. You can do that. Or otherwise, simply you can prepare a normal Word document in the computer. Whenever you read a paper, just to make a citation in the paper, mention it, the title of the paper, author, everything, and have a small write-up, what you have learned from the paper, a brief summary. In that way, just to keep maintaining it. So once you complete all those things, you will be able to understand all the brief summary. When you read it, you know how exactly what are the things you have understood, where is the research gap or something else. And all these references, you have given a title now, references, you have made it in the Word document. That finally you can add it as a what you call common references that will be very visible to you. And Rupa, am I audible and visible? Rupa, can you confirm me whether am I audible? Rupa, are you there? Okay, let me check. Some of you, can you type in the chat box whether am I audible and visible? Because I need to confirm it then and there. Otherwise, no, if suddenly some network issues are there, I should not lose. Thank you very much. I got the message. Yes, okay. Just I'm confirming it. Okay, just I have confirmed it, and let me continue. Yeah. Okay. So now you have arranged those papers into the 50 paper. Then you have prepared a bibliography card. Now you will have a fair idea about your research because you have selected a rough topic, probably a tentative topic. You have read some paper. When you read some papers on your specific area, you will get a lot of clarity about how the other researchers have conducted their research, how they have written, whether you can continue with your research problem, is it really novel, good, or you go ahead, or still you have to rearrange or you have to rework your research problem. You will get a complete idea. Then once you get a complete clarity, yes, now I'm all right, I have read, my research gap is properly established, now I can start with, then you can start writing the paper. Got it? So now you need, let me, the next section about the abstract, actually you should write at the end. So let me come to this abstract at the last. First, let me go to the how to write a literature review. First, let me talk about that. Then I'll come to the abstract. Let me tell you at the end, because that should be written at the last, not in the beginning. So the literature review. See, now you have read the paper. Already you have 50 paper or 25 paper, or minimum you need to have 25 papers. Less than 25 papers, it is not really good for your literature review. Literature review means very simple, reviewing the papers which have been published in your area. That's what you have done in the previous process. You have collected and you have read, you have analyzed, you have understood certain things. That should be reported as literature review. And literature review, you can straight away, you can write like this. Let me tell you example. See, assume that you want to know how to write a research paper. Assume that Rajshekhar, he has asked us to write a literature review in the beginning. So assume that instead of giving the this workshop and talk, I have written a paper. You are reading my paper. Then you understand that literature review is the basic component of writing the writing a research paper. Then you have to, in case you are adding into a literature review, Rajshekhar identified within bracket then year. Assume that it is 2020 when I published a paper. Year identified that literature review is the main component of a research paper. This is one statement. Then after that, in case I have told many things, then you can brief all those things in that review. Then you can talk about next person. Assume that there is Peter. Peter has said about writing literature research paper has to start from the library or something like that. So for each paper, from each research paper, whatever you have identified based on the review after reading it, that should be written as a small paragraph, not more than 4 lines. Then all the 20 reviews, 20 papers, assume that you have taken 20 papers, all those 20 papers summary. Summary means what is their research topic, what is their research method, what they have identified, these 3 things should be included in the review. Then you have to write, in this pattern, you have to present all the 20 reviews in your research paper. Clear? So for that, there are 2 other. One thing is, see, when you read other researchers, you are not creating anything. Simply you are reporting what that particular researcher has done. So that can be done. Look at their first one. It is called paraphrase the important findings of the previous researcher. Simply, you say that Rajshekhar identified this. That way, okay. And Rajshekhar used this research methodology, and he has used these many research sample. He has identified these are the outcome. In this pattern, you have to write. So here, simply you are paraphrasing the Rajshekhar's research paper. Similarly, you have to do for the entire researchers. Number 1. Number 2, write it in a simple way. Don't complicate literature review. It should be in a very simple way. The reader should understand clearly. Then present in chronological order. That means you start from when you present in the when you read, you can read at any format. But when you present it in the review, probably some journal will ask you go with the reverse chronological order. Means you have to present the latest first. That means 2021 paper first, then 2020, then 2019, in that way. Some journal, they'll go normal chronological order. For example, from 2010, you started 2010 about those papers, then 2011, 12, in that way you can go ahead. That's a 3rd thing. Use standard review format. What is the standard review format? See, you can add reviews in different way through in-text citation. When you write a research paper, see, Rajshekhar said that you have to follow this thing. This is one pattern of writing it. So what you call introducing the previous researcher name, then what his idea, you have to mention it. This is one pattern. Other pattern, how to write a research paper. In an article about how to write a research paper, and it has been found that literature review is main component. then within bracket Rajshekhar 2021. That is another way, without mentioning the author name in the beginning, straight away mentioning about the title and the finding. On the end, you can use the parenthetical citation, the author name and the year. This is another way. Or another way, you can, instead of using discussed, you can use different words, highlighted, identified, or giving the idea. Many different synonyms you can use, and you can report their finding. This is another way. So here standard review format means it is based on the journal expectation. You can use it because journal will clearly give you the idea. In case journal, they have not given you clearly, you go to that particular journal, download the previous papers, and check how they have written literature review in their particular journal. You have to write accordingly. Because that is a standard format, you can go ahead. But in some time, each journal, they'll have their own format, because if you use APA in-text citation, that's a one citation model, MLA citation model, Chicago citation model, IEEE citation model, then the review format will change. So according to the journal requirement, you have to change the review and you have to present it. But the order and other things are all same, but only the citation model changes. So you have to check the journal requirement, you have to do accordingly. And third thing, not third, last one, avoid repeating the same word. What do you mean by Rajshekhar said, Ravi said, Priya said, Ganapati said, Jacob said? So don't present all the reviews with the same word. Try to use different phrases. For example, identify 10 phrases, use 10 phrases in different way. Then you can repeat the same 10 phrases after the 10th one. But don't repeat the same one phrase, first 5 review, one phrase, another 5 review, another one phrase. Don't use in that way. Instead of that, all the first 5 phrases entirely different. Then you can start in the 6th review, you can use the first phrase, 7th review, you can use the second phrase. In that way, you can go ahead. So this is how you have to write a literature review. Then comes exactly how to frame objectives and the research questions. See, about how to write a literature review, whatever the topic I'm talking now, I have a separate detailed videos on these things. Let me share about all those videos at the end of this talk. I'll be giving through WhatsApp group and Telegram group. Already you have been member. So let me share my 50+ research video. That there is a separate video, in detail video, about how to write a literature review, how to write abstract, how to write a topic. So I am briefing in this presentation, but in that particular video, I have given a detailed description there. So that will be useful to have a clear idea. But if you follow whatever I'm giving now, it will be more than enough for you. In case you have got clear idea about how to write a literature review, but still you have some problem on writing abstract, then you can go to that specific video, you can check it up. That let me share it later. Okay, now let us come to the how to frame objectives or a research question. Whether do you have both objective and research question? Yes. Certain things, some paper simply will go with the research object, because objective and the research question, based on the research objective only research question can be formed. Based on research question, objective cannot be formed. See, objective is the broader term. For example, aim, objective, research question. In this order it has to come. Aim is a broader one. Improving the student vocabulary, it's a aim. This is the aim of your paper. And then objective, how to improve the student vocabulary through vocab app. How to test the student vocabulary through vocab app. How to analyze the student usage of the vocab through the vocab app. So one aim is improving vocabulary. 3 objectives: testing the student vocabulary level, and testing the student usage level, testing the student phrase usage level. 3 questions. Then research question. What will be a research question? What is the level of, what is the stock of, what is the impact of vocab app in the student vocabulary? Is there any good outcome through the vocab app? That can be a research question. So aim is a very broader perspective. Objective, it narrows down. Based on the objective, you will have more specific question. That is what we call it a research question. How to do that thing? First thing, try to have unambiguous research question objective. It should be crystal clear. It should be crystal clear. There should not be any ambiguity, confusion, that nobody will read your paper. No journal will accept your paper. So be very clear. Your objective should be very crystal clear, number 1. And do not have too many objectives. For example, for a research paper, I would advise 3 objective is absolutely appropriate. It's a correct number. But if you have a 10 objectives, you will never be able to do justice for your paper. So maximum 3. Even you can start with 1 also. If you want to do a detailed study, if it is a qualitative research, you want to do a case study, you can take only 1 case, you can do a detailed analysis, you can present it. Only 1 objective is also enough. 1 research question is also enough. So minimum 1, maximum 3 you can have. Don't have more than that. If you have a PhD, you can go more than that. But for a normal research paper, 3 objective, it is well and good. But inevitably, you require to add more than 3, but make sure that it is required. You can add, otherwise don't add it. And very important thing, you have to keep the end in your mind. See, you have fixed the objective now. At the end of the paper, you are supposed to answer all the objectives, all the research questions. If you are unable to identify answer for this research question, then what is the point of fixing the question? See, assume that you have a 3 research question, but sometime you can get the positive answer as well as a negative answer. So getting some answer is essential, but you do not know how to get the answer, means that's absolute rubbish. See, assume that you identify that vocabulary app does not have any impact in the student phrasal usages, phrasal verb usages, that's fine. But another objective identifies it has a great impact on student general vocabulary, but it doesn't have any impact on student phrasal verb usages. So one is a positive outcome, another one is a negative outcome, nothing wrong in it. You can have both. But if you don't answer anything about these both outcome in the end conclusion and the finding, then what is the point of having objective? So be very careful. The entire research paper should revolve around your objectives, research question. So entire analysis, collection of the sample and the finding, everything should revolve around based on the research question. You cannot go beyond the research question because it is not your purview. It is not your scope. Your scope is limited within your research question. You are not supposed to go beyond the research question. If you go in that way, then you are unnecessarily complicating your research. That is not really actually accepted, especially when you send such kind of paper in the journal, they'll simply reject, saying that there is no clarity in the research objectives and the paper. So be very careful. So next comes just a minute. Yeah, as I said, it takes some time to respond it. So in that gap, let me take water. Yeah. So now it's time to write an introduction. See, you have framed the research objectives. Now you are going to work on those things. Then we'll be collecting the data and you'll be working on that. So now let me go one by one. Quickly, let me tell you what is expected from each section of the research paper. So first, introduction section, you need to give a broad outline about your area. From the broad, you have to come to the specific outline. Then you need to introduce your exact research topic. Then you have to make sure that you quote, you refer, you give a lot of cross-reference important other research papers in the introduction itself, because so that your introduction gives a really possible weightage to a paper that you have really referred other paper. That will give you a good kind of input to the other people to read it. You have really referred it. See, you can't write into the entire paper with your own words. The entire paper, all the sections except the abstract, all other section, you need to have a cross references. Cross references means when you write the introduction section, you are talking about what is a research paper. Then you will have your own definition about the research paper. You will write on your own words. But along with that, you need to mention about the other fellow researchers, those who have conducted, written a paper on research paper also, you have to mention it. In case if you are writing a paper about the photosynthesis, you need to mention about what are the other researcher, how do they define photosynthesis also, you need to mention apart from your own definition. So that particular research reference gives the good weightage to your research paper, that you have a real research acumen to write that paper. So that's the thing. So this is what you need to do in the introduction. Next come, so already I talked about literature review. That's a core area. That's why I have given first thing. Then I given you about the research, what you call introduction. Next thing comes research tools. How to identify research tools? See, research tool, what are you supposed to do means, if it is a, see, research can be generally classified quantitative research, qualitative research. Research tools also will vary based on your research approach, whether it is a quantitative approach or a qualitative approach. Say, for example, you are using a qualitative research, mean case study. You do that case study or ethnography. You do the, what you call, very detailed study about the particular group. Ethnography means you go to the particular ethnic group, you immerse in that group, you identify, you just to learn about them, you write it. That is called ethnography. So their research tool is ethnography. You will, a researcher will try to get the first-hand experience. See, you are doing a study on a tribal people. So you will go to the tribal belt, you will stay there, you will be with them, you will observe their behavior, day-to-day behavior and everything. You will make a detailed record. Then you will try to, interpret based on the observation. You will find out your research finding. But whereas in the other person, see, you don't do a detailed study, just you want to do a survey study. Survey comes in the quantitative research. So what you do there, you prepare a survey questions, then you will send across to the different people. For example, you want to take a survey about your own class student. So then you will give the survey question to your class students. If you are a teacher, you will give it to the class student. Or if you are other researcher, you will collect from the 5 different colleges. You will go to the college, you will give the questionnaire and you will collect the responses. So there you will be using the questionnaire. From the response, you will identify, simply you will report what is the response from the survey question. But whereas in the qualitative study, you don't report anything. You will really give a complete analysis about them. But here, the analysis will be based on the survey result, not about based on the first-hand detailed experience. See, very simple. Qualitative will go in depth. The sample size is very less. Whereas quantitative will go in a very broader way, and the sample size is very broad. So it will try to generalize. See, the findings of the quantitative study will generalize, but findings of the qualitative study cannot generalize, because it is the experience of one particular tribal group. That tribal group experience cannot be imitated by the other people. It is simply to want to study about it. And for example, there is a community, Irular community. Say you want to study about their ethnic values. What are the ethnic cultural practices that particular community, they follow it. Then you can study, you can go to their place and you can study about it. You will be what you call just you portraying about their cultural values. But whereas in general, what is the perception of the culture in India among the students? Here you don't study about any specific culture. In general, you'll collect a sample questionnaire. Finally, you'll present it, whether students like it or not, or whether they are culturally sensitive or insensitive. That way they'll place it. So the point here is, based on your research approach, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, your research tool will differ. These are the common research tools. That's what: survey questionnaire, structured or semi-structured interviews, performance test, real-time observation. That's what I have given 2 examples. One is real-time observation is for a qualitative study. Survey questions is for the quantitative study. Recording the performance, again, if it is the detailed study, you will go to the qualitative study, you will record through the tape recorder, or simply you will transcribe it and you will try to analyze and do that thing. So again, there are so many research tools. Due to the time constraint, I have introduced a few tools only. So again, as I already told you that I have 50 plus research videos on all the topics. In my YouTube channel, everything is available. Each topic will go maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That when you go to that particular topic, you'll have a complete clarity. Now you get to introduced about these things. But in case you want to have a further details, when I'm going to share those video links at the end as a one Excel sheet with all the 50 plus videos with the link. So in case you want to select only one video, you can go to that link, click it, and you can watch it, you can learn it. So this is what normally you have to know about the general research tools. Next comes data collection. So now you have identified the research tool. How are you going to collect the data? See, data collection can be taken into two ways. One is on-site data collection. Another one is off-site data collection or online data collection. On-site data collection means, as I already told you, you go to the particular place, you go to them, you will give the questionnaire, you will talk to them, you will record them. That's all in-person data collection. But sometimes you will not meet any respondent, any research participant, because you can see that in your WhatsApp group there may be a lot of links will come. I'm doing PhD in so and so, please fill up this questionnaire. So you will be filling up that questionnaire. That's an online questionnaire. So you can prepare a questionnaire, you can share via email, WhatsApp group, Facebook, or different medium, and the respondent, they'll fill up the data, and then you will take the data, then you will try to interpret it. That's another way. So one is on-site data collection and online data collection. Then third thing is data acquisition from relevant sources. Say, for example, you want to study about the HIV patients, but you do not know how many people are affected by HIV in the last 5 years. You may not have that data will not be publicly available. So you have to contact the respective health department of the particular district or the state. You have to write a requisition, then you have to go and tell them that you are doing a research on that. Then they may give that particular data to you with certain undertaking. So you can acquire data sometime from a government offices, private offices, certain libraries, or some other mode you will be able to acquire the data. That is called data acquisition. Or if it is a, let me tell you that if you are a literature student, you are English teacher, you want to conduct a research on a novel, drama, then first thing, for you data is a novel. You don't collect any this kind of survey. Simply you will take primary source. That's what novel, drama, fiction, and what you call poem or anything. Then what is the secondary source? Secondary source is the material, the other papers, some other criticism written on that particular book. That's what a secondary source. Then, so primary source and secondary source, with these two data, you will be doing the research with the, if you are a humanities research student. But whereas in the science and all, these kind of thing they have to collect it either through online or offline. Sometimes they go to the particular source and they have to acquire the data. Say, for example, I have a student in my university. She did a work on dyslexic students. How the dyslexic students are learning the language. So what she has done, she went to the particular dyslexic schools, special schools, and she went and she interacted with them. She collected the data from the particular school. So there she went to that school in person. She was with them for 1 month, I think 3 months, and she was interacting with them. And finally, she collected the data. Then she found certain ways and means to improve their language. So that is another mode of collecting the thing. So it depends upon your study, you will do that. Sometimes it is based on the algorithm. You are a science, a computer science thing. So if it is already available algorithm is there, you study that, then you may renew the algorithm or you write your own new algorithm. That way also you will be able to do the new things. This is of data collection. Next comes the data analysis or interpretation. See, after collecting the data, that's what, if it is a survey, you have the entire responses as a Google spreadsheet. Then you need to transform that raw data into the codified data. What do you mean by codified data? You have to add coding. See, you want to analyze the data in the maybe normal spreadsheet or through SPSS. See, normal statistical analysis has to be done with the certain software called SPSS. Or simply you want to go with mean, medium, mode. These are the thing means highest value, lowest value, even you can complete within the what you call Excel sheet. But in the Excel sheet, the data will be as a kind of a qualitative data. Say, for example, you are asking a question whether you are a male or female. So they'll answer you either male or female. So in your responses, you will have the data as male and female. How will you be able to codify that thing? That will not be, the system will not generate how many male and how many female. So now you have to number it. 1 means male, 2 means female. So when you replace these qualitative matter into the numbers, then it will be ready for you to feed those data into the system. to analyze, to what you call, to take the analysis about the particular data. This is called data processing. So when you process the data, you need to identify. That's why somebody, they'll never, even when they prepare the questionnaire itself, they'll not give male or female. If you are a male, click 1. If you are a female, click 2. In that way, they'll give. So they don't require to codify the data again. Simply they can go ahead straight away after downloading the data, they'll be able to process it. So these things you have to, when you prepare a questionnaire itself, you have to be very careful about the way you want to interpret, the way you want to code. Accordingly, you have to change the data style, what you call collection style method. Then you can number it, you can collect it, that will be fine for you. And that's what I already told you, that SPSS and Microsoft Excel and basic analysis you can do with your normal Excel. You can get the help of your friends if you do not know about Excel. But SPSS, absolutely, you require the help of the experts, statistician. The SPSS software can be handled by the statistician, the mathematics department. Under the maths, there is another department called statistics. So that statisticians only will be able to identify, be able to know exactly whether the data value is right or wrong, whether it gives you the possible result or negative result. So you need to get their help. Otherwise, you have to learn on your own. You have to do that. But most of the case, you can get the help of the people and you learn it. And whatever the way they are expecting the data, you prepare in that format and give it to them. They'll run in the SPSS system software. They'll analyze. They'll give you the final result to you. Then you can interpret it later. Got it? So this is data interpretation. So in case if you are doing the literary analysis, what will you do? Before this slide, in the data interpretation for the humanities research, what will they do? Simple. If you are studying about a novel or a drama or a film, you will be writing a lot of interpretation based on certain theoretical perception. You apply, see, postmodern techniques in the particular movie or a particular novel, or postmodern ideology in the Salman Rushdie novels, or the notion of culture in what you call Mahesh Dattani dramas. So then you will take the Mahesh Dattani dramas and you will analyze how he has handled the culture, and you will try to interpret based on what are the things represent culture, how it has been discussed in his drama, and you will present it in an interpretive way. This is how you do it in a humanities thing. See, the humanities analysis, what you do, you will take a particular theory, you will apply that theory, then you will try to identify that theoretical component in that particular work, and you will extract it, then you will interpret it. Okay, Mahesh Dattani has handled the social problem in this format. In that way, you will be justifying that thing. Whereas in the other survey result, simply you have taken a survey, you will just interpret based on your result. But this thing, based on you will be applying the theory, then you will interpret it. Correct? Then how will you write the analysis? Now you have interpreted in a basic level. Now you have to present the analysis. You have to write it. How would you do that? See, make sure that if it is the quantitative data, use possible table, chart, and diagram. Don't write running matter. It is really boring to the people. So wherever you can use a table and charts, please use table. Normally bar chart or a pie chart, use it. Then you can interpret it. Then present analysis based on your objectives and research questions. See, in the analysis section itself, see, first analysis has to be based on your first research objective. Say, let us go back to my previous example. What is the impact of vocab app in the student vocabulary? Then you have to write impact of vocab app in the student vocabulary. That only you have to analyze in that particular analysis section. Second section, then you need to mention about what is the impact of the student phrasal verb usages because of vocabulary app. Then you have to mention that. So based on the your objective, you present it to step by step. Then you will be able to analyze clearly, because if you do it in a haphazard way, they'll not be able to understand the things clearly. Correct? And very important thing, I have seen a lot of as an editor of a lot of journals, a lot of people, they write paper, but there will not be any coherence in their paper. They'll present it in an absurd way. So make sure that in the analysis, it goes in a smooth flow, cohesion, it's the cohesive devices you have used, and there is a smooth flow of the ideas in there, and you have to make sure that this is how you need to present your analysis. Next comes findings. Yeah. Findings or conclusion. There are two ways. I think bear with me. I think the font is very small. Let me read out. If I make it a slide, so then again coming back, it will take long time. So now you will be writing findings and conclusion. See, there are two different types of writing in for journal. Some journal they'll say that it is only findings, not a conclusion, because we will not be able to provide any conclusion for any particular topic, because the research is always can be re-researched by other future researcher. That's why they say that you give just only findings, don't mention as a conclusion. So again, you have to decide based on the journal requirement. That's it. Either you give as a finding or give as a conclusion. So first thing, you have to summarize your entire findings. That is, whatever you have identified from your entire study, from the analysis part and everything, and present it in a what you call brief way in the findings section based on your research question. That's what it has been identified that there is a great impact of vocabulary learning through vocab app. And in similar fashion, you have to go with one by one. I have to present it number one. Second thing, what are the common mistakes people do that? See, in the findings, a lot of time people try to add a lot of conclusion, something which will not come based on their research. See, you have said that people can use other vocabulary app also to improve their vocabulary. Fine, but that is not related to your research. You have done research with only one vocab app. So here you can't say that the student can use the other vocab app to develop their vocabulary, because it's nowhere related to your research. So try to confine your findings within the research only. You cannot give any your own experience as a finding in that particular conclusion. I have seen many people. See, I'm a teacher. See, I conduct a research. See, always my teacher attitude will come. I could have experienced some other problem, so I will try to present those problem in the conclusion as my research problem, finding to the research issue. See, whatever I have committed to conduct a research in this particular research topic, my findings should talk only related to that thing. So I cannot give any other expert opinion, other thing in the conclusion, which is no way connected to my research. This is very important. So don't go beyond the scope of your research objective. So try to restrict your conclusion finding within your research question. And make sure that you have answered all the research questions. That's already told you that you have 3 questions means you have answered 2 research questions. You have unanswered the 3rd question means that's wrong. So you have to make sure that how many objectives you have, how many research questions you have, all those things must be answered in the finding section or a conclusion section. And finally, definitely we will not be able to do a 100% perfect study. There will be certain flaws and limitations. So always mention about what are the limitations in your study, what are the things you have not covered in your study. Then you can tell them what are the future scope based on your limitation. You can recommend the future scope of the study also in your paper at the end. So this is how you need to write about the final conclusion. And how to give references, that's already told you, there are different style, either APA style or MLA style or Chicago style, IEEE. You have to understand their reference methodology, and you have to accordingly have to give. You can't have the same reference to all the journal. Each journal, they have their own reference format. Most of the journal, they follow APA format. But if you take universities in India, they follow only MLA format. So MLA 9th edition, latest 9th edition has come out, and I have one video about MLA 9th edition also in my channel. I'll give you a link. You can check it out, what are the latest update. You can know that, and you have to give references only based on those MLA style or APA style, whatever it is requested. So with this, we'll wind up, and the only one more thing I need to talk about is abstract. See, abstract should be written at the end, not at the beginning. See, after completing all your entire research paper, now write abstract. In the abstract, only 3 things must be given. What is your research? What are your research sample and research methodology? And what particular technique, maybe sampling technique or analysis technique you have used? What are the final findings? You don't require to mention the entire finding. Probably 1 or 2 finding you can mention in your abstract. Abstract should be written in a very effective way, because 90% everybody, they'll read only abstract. So they'll only based on your quality of the abstract only, they'll decide whether to read your paper or not. If your abstract is really poor, nobody is going to read your paper. Even when you send to a journal also, first time they'll check only abstract. If it really reasonably good, then only they'll go to your full paper, they read, then finalize whether to accept your paper or not. This is what you need to do the entire thing. So, and the another important thing you have to, this, if you want to write a strong research paper, a good quality research paper, it requires minimum 6 month time, because without 6 month time you will not be able to do it within a day and all, and that will not be a quality research paper. Definitely that will be very substandard research paper. So you have to be very careful about those things, so you understand all the nuances and try to understand and try to do that thing. Okay, with this let me stop here. You can ask the questions in the chat box, let me answer you. And yes, they said they'll be providing the feedback link shortly. And let me post that all the 50 plus videos links in the chat box. And otherwise you can straight away download from my website. Let me post the website in the chat box, drvraj.com. If you go there, there will be a scrolling will be running about download 50 plus research video. Just you click download, you will be able to download it. Okay, is there any other questions? And you can ask the question. Yes, let me provide the link of this video. Entire video is recorded as a YouTube link. You will be receiving the link also. I'll be sharing the link in all the WhatsApp group as well as Telegram group. In the same link, you will be able to watch the complete recorded session later also. Okay, hypothesis. Yeah, Tamil Dasan asked the question about hypothesis. See, hypothesis is generally, it is the statement used to test it. Actually, it happens in the quantitative research. You will take the hypothesis, you will try to test it using statistical method. So I have a separate video on how to write a hypothesis. That video link is there. In that, if you go to that particular list of my 50 plus video, where the separate video I have done it about the hypothesis, how to frame what is there are two type of hypothesis: null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. What are the statistical method you have to use to test the hypothesis? Everything is available there. You can use it. Okay. Mona Lisa Balamurugan asked, sir, please comment on how to write thesis and thesis chapters split in literature. See, in the literature or in normal chapters, always make sure that you in the introductory chapter, you have to same thing. Whatever I have given for this research paper, same thing you have to expand it for your what you call your thesis. That's it. Same thing, broad outline, specific outline, then introduce your topic. Then research methodology, talk about the what method you have used, what are the research sample, how they can do that, and all those things. Whatever I have used in this for the research paper, same thing you have to use for your thesis. Okay, yes, are you a student pursuing postgraduate? How to write EAR at high school level, sir? I don't understand why. Can you please suggest resources for literature review of ELT vocabulary? Ramkrishna, yes, you can. There are, please search Google Scholar, scholar.google.com. Go there. You have just to type all the papers related to the vocabulary, whatever the topic you have, you will be able to download it. Let me share those things in the link, Google, scholar.google.com. That's it. Just you can, will be able to download it. Literature review ELT. Yes, Mr. Ramkrishna. That's what you can just go to the Google's Scholar website. Just you type it, you will be able to download all the papers, even year-wise paper. Also, you can do that. There is a one more video I have in my channel, how to do the literature, what you Google search. If you watch that video, that will guide you how to do that thing. Let me just a minute. I'll share those how it will look. I'll show you. All those videos, because so that you will understand how it works. Just a minute, let me share you how it will be, you will be able to get it. See, if you go to this particular website, my website, just a minute, I'm opening it. I'll be showing that. So each topic wise, the list I have categorized, and you will be able to do that thing, and you can work on that, and you will be able to understand the entire thing based on those videos. Okay, it takes time, I guess, because sometimes it is loading. Let me find, is there any other questions? Yeah, how can we develop research proposal? Yeah, as there are 1,000 plus participants, the questions are keep running. So whatever the question I can understand, I can read from the chat box, I'm answering you. Others, please forgive me. You can later reach me through mobile or WhatsApp or the email. How about I use survey data collected through Google Forms for my thesis? Is it accepted for analysis? Yes, absolutely. Someone asked the question you hear me now? Sorry, sir, for the technical glitch. Suddenly, my mic went off. Yes, I understand. I understand. Now you'll be able to hear me. Just I have set right the issue. I'll be posting the feedback link in the all the WhatsApp and Telegram group in the meantime. Then once it's over, and you'll be able to access from here also. Just I'm posting it. Just a minute. Yeah, feedback form has been posted in all the WhatsApp group as well as Telegram group. You can fill it up. Still, am I not audible? Yeah, feedback form has been posted in the both WhatsApp as well as Telegram group. You can kindly check it up. Sorry, due to the heavy traffic, because of the network has slowed my system, because almost 1,000 plus people are attending. That's the reason. I have posted, but I'm trying to post the feedback in the chat box also. I'm sorry for that. Okay, I have already posted in all the WhatsApp group as well as now it is available in the chat box also. I have pasted in the chat box also. And okay, with this we'll wind up. Sorry, actually I couldn't get a lot of your questions. Probably you can approach me through my mail, and I'll be trying to answer you. I'm giving my mail ID, and I have given. If you have joined the WhatsApp group, we'll be able to take my number from that group as admin, and you can probably you can message me if you have any question. Let me try to help you. Thank you very much, and it's a wonderful. No, I have really wonderful participation. Thank you for the. Sorry for the last minute glitch in the network, and I think now you have received the feedback. Can someone confirm me whether you have received the feedback? Shruti, yes, answer my question. How to ELT theories, then how to apply it. Okay. See, ELT theories, you have to, based on the, you have to read the book by the third ELT approaches and methods by Jack C. Richards and Theodus. You read that book. Which particular methodology you are using? For example, you are using TBLT method or a silent way or communicative language teaching. Whatever the method you are using, based on that approach, you have to take your paper, you have to write it and do that thing. So first thing, please read that book, and you have to have a complete idea about the entire approaches, and accordingly you have to, what you call, apply the theory. Yes, feedback form I have, what you call it, Telegram, WhatsApp and everything. Thank you very much. Okay, I guess I have done justice to my job, to the topic. Make use of it. The same recorded talk also will be available in the same YouTube channel. Once it is there, ready, then I'll be sending you the link to you also. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the some other program in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mohana ma'am, I have posted the link here also. Say I have posted again here. Yeah, just now I have posted the link, feedback link in the chat box also. You can take it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, with this, let me wind up. Thank you very much.